Let's have a conversation. Tell me what you think about the issues of the world. What kind of spice you wanna be? Tell me where you wanna travel. Do you believe in luxury? What's your hidden passion? What makes you so unique? Conversations with Nicole. Conversations with Nicole. Conversations with Nicole. Conversations with Nicole.
So tell me about the last community session that the council had.
Sure. Our initiative this year has been to take our meeting to our community members throughout the city of Tallahassee, and so we have strategically planned each quarter to host one of our council meetings in specific areas of town. We also work together as a council to think about and be very intentional about the theme and or the guest speakers that we bring for the community to engage with. Our last meeting focused on elder care, and we looked at and had conversations around the need in our city and in our community for elder care, practices throughout different cultures related to elder care, and also the cost of elder care and some ways to start thinking about preparing, which is a topic that personally touches me in terms of cultural expectations of family, our practice in our family, but also realizing that as my parents and grandparents get to a certain age, thinking about how to make sure that they are cared for, comfortable, and included in the conversation. And so it was a wonderful opportunity for the community to come together and think about and explore what is our city doing, what can our city do better. Is there still need in our different aspects of elder care? And again, our council really focuses on trying to bring conversations that connect to what's happening in our community. And so the opening of various long-term care and assisted living facilities in our city was one of the pieces of inspiration for our meeting.
That's great. All right. Welcome to Conversations with Nicole. I am Nicole Everett, your host, and today we're here at the City of Tallahassee speaking with members of the Tallahassee Human Relations Council. Our first guest is Mr. Miguel Hernandez. Welcome, Miguel.
Thank you very much.
So give us a little background about you, where you're from, what you do.
Sure. My family is from Puerto Rico. I was born in Puerto Rico, born into a military family. My father served the U.S. Army for 30 years, so we had the opportunity to travel quite a bit through his service. And so I grew up enjoying the art of engaging with different communities and cultures and languages as we had opportunities to live in different parts of the world and throughout the U.S. My mother was a pastor, and so I grew up as a preacher's kid.
Okay.
Dinners were always interesting between war and religion, if you will, and so it just provided...
Those were the dinner conversations?
At times.
Okay.
At times. It provided for a rich upbringing. Sense of community was important. Sense of family has always been important from both perspectives. And so.
Now, how long have you been in Tallahassee?
I moved to Tallahassee in 2004. I came right after my graduate studies to work at Florida State University in student affairs, and that's where I'm still working.
All right, and what do you teach currently?
My full-time position, I'm housed in the Center for Leadership and Social Change, and so I have the opportunity to help with student development focused on three aspects: identity and diversity, leadership, education, and community service and engagement. And so those are the three areas that I focus on. The classes I teach are focused on those three areas as well. I'm currently teaching a class for first-year students entitled Leadership Through Social Justice. And the second course that I'm teaching is a service scholar class focused on community and engagement.
Okay, very good. Now, I just got wind of this council the other week.
Yes, ma'am.
So tell me a little bit about it in terms of what it does and who it serves.
Absolutely. Our council has been here in the city since the 70s, early 70s, It was established as a partnership with the community and the city of Tallahassee. The focus of the council is really three parts. The mission of the council, if you will, is a three-part mission. One is to promote diversity and inclusion throughout the city. The second is to empower our community members and our city employees to engage actively in this work. And third is really to serve as a voice and a liaison between our elected officials and our community.
Okay, and how do you become a member of the council?
Sure. A variety of ways. I think that one of the things that we have on our city website is an opportunity for any city resident to apply to be a part of the council. We are appointed by the mayor, and so the application process is processed, and we are selected by the city Human Relations and also the mayor's office.
Okay, about how many members are there of the council?
We have about 12 members of the council.
Okay.
Some of the members are at-large members, and other members are selected based on our bylaws that have preset a variety of different organizations throughout the city, such as the Chamber of Commerce. We also have our NAACP representative, a member of the Urban League serves, and a representative from our Leon County Police Department and Sheriff's Department.
Okay, so that's a good mix then, yeah. So how often does the council meet?
We meet once a month, third Wednesdays of every month here in City Hall. Our meetings are from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., and we typically meet on the second floor of City Hall.
Okay, and it's open to the public?
It is open to the public.
So
yes,
anybody can come and listen to what you all
Absolutely.
have going on.
Absolutely.
Is there opportunity for the public to speak?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
We always provide an opportunity for public comment and to engage with our neighbors.
Okay, good deal. Now, what recommendations has the council made to the city in the past?
Absolutely. Well, one of the ways that we seek recommendations, I'll start with that, is that we have decided this year to visit with our neighbors. Instead of just having meetings here in City Hall, once a quarter, we go out into our community and have an opportunity to engage with our neighbors about a variety of different topics. And so one of the ways that we are able to make recommendations to the city is by hearing and listening to what our community needs are.
So listening sessions.
Listening sessions, absolutely.
Okay.
We do base our meetings on a particular theme that may be relevant to that area. And so, for example, our last community meeting was on elder care. And we had a phenomenal conversation just about what's happening in the city, what our needs are, and some cultural pieces around how we approach the conversation.
What are some of the topics that you've covered in these listening sessions?
Sure. Another popular topic was around affordable housing and some of our pieces around development throughout the city. Had fantastic community members come out and just talk about what the city planning process is, and based on the projects that they're seeing under construction, what some of the decision making that goes into how we are developing communities. Lots of concern around affordability, lots of concern around who is included and excluded from various projects. And so again, one of the things I appreciate, in addition to our community members coming out and sharing their perspectives, their lived experience, their expertise, is also inviting speakers to come and inform us about how can we, as residents of Tallahassee, be more informed and more engaged.
Okay. Now, why are you personally a member of the council? What's
Sure.
your personal or professional interest in this council?
Absolutely. Professionally, my work in higher education is focused on diversity and inclusion, and so I have lots of interest as a resident of Tallahassee, but also as a professional here in the community, to learn from our neighbors, to engage regularly and as often as possible, but also to take responsibility through my professional role, but also my role as a resident of Tallahassee to stay connected and to pay attention, and also do my part in making this particular city where we live one that is welcoming, one that is open to different ideas, cultures. I think at the end of the day, we're not guests of the city of Tallahassee. We make up the city. And so it's
We
our
do.
responsibility as individuals that live in this house to take care of our house. And so I see this as an opportunity to give back.
Now, you and I have engaged at the Village Square, which is an event very much so like you have just described. What do you think about those types of opportunities to engage with your, fellow citizens that may not live in your neighborhood or may not look like you or have similar backgrounds or experiences?
I believe that those are some phenomenal opportunities for us to be enriched and also share story. One of the things that I strongly believe from my own cultural background is that I believe that stories are what shift people's hearts and minds. And so we can read reports, we can hear the news, we can receive hashtags and other things that are happening around the world. But I think there is something very moving and powerful around being able to sit knee to knee with our neighbors and hear their experiences and how they've been impacted by various life lessons, and be able to also share our own life lessons with each other. And so from the Village Square to our work through the council to any other opportunity that our city offers, the examples that I absolutely am a huge fan of and encourage all of our neighbors to partake in are the festivals that we have in the city, like our Experience Asia Festival, our Greek Festival,
Harambe Festival.
Harambe. I have the opportunity through the council to also partner with our Dare to Dream, our MLK Dare to Dream Festival. And so those opportunities to come together and to learn from each other and with each other, I think are just powerful moments that are open to all of our neighbors. But I also encourage us to bring our family to these events, to bring children to these events, to be able to engage from various vantage points, if you will.
Okay, very good. Excellent points. What diversity issues would you like to see the council address?
I'd love for us to continue engaging on what are the priorities of our neighbors, what's on the hearts and minds of our neighbors. And so, as I mentioned, we have talked about our housing pieces and issues. Fair housing celebration just recently happened, 50th anniversary of
50
Fair
years.
Housing Act. And so it is interesting and powerful to think about how we have been as a nation and a country, but also as a city, been working toward ensuring fair housing opportunities throughout our neighborhoods. The work is still there. We still have work to do. And so it is important for us to stay engaged in our conversations. Would love for us to continue engaging in conversations around elder care, conversations around our election process and how important it is to role model for our young people civic duty and engagement. I think it's important for us to be informed on the various pieces of legislation that are coming before us. How can we change the laws of our state and our city through the election process and through the voting process? And so I hope our next meeting in the community in October will be around the upcoming election process and what issues are coming up. And,
That would be great.
so we're very excited to continue engaging with our community on conversations around what's our responsibility, what's our role, how can we make a difference.
Okay, well, those were all great tips or things that folks can do to improve the Tallahassee Human Relations. So thank you for sharing it.
Thank you.
And thank you for your time today. Appreciate you taking some time to share the council with us.
Thank you.
Okay. Stay tuned for more conversations.
Every stunt, every shot, every rep, every strike, every hit, every kick, every spike, from first down to first place. every tag counts. When you buy a professional team license tag, every purchase supports the designated team's youth charity programs and promotes youth in major sporting events in Florida. Find out more information at playinflorida.com.
This is Nicole Everett. People often ask me, what makes a great conversation? I say active listening, honest exchange, genuine interest, and finding a common ground. Tune in to Conversations with Nicole and explore the pleasures and connection of great conversation.
Conversations with Nicole. Come and have a little talk with me. Conversations with Nicole. Come on and speak to me.
We are Cumulus Broadcasting Tallahassee, the power of radio. Proud sponsor of Conversations with Nicole, connecting the community through conversations.
Welcome back to Conversations with Nicole. If you're just joining us, we're talking to members of the Tallahassee Human Relations Council here with the City of Tallahassee. Joining me now is my special guest, Miss Audrey Smith. Welcome, Audrey.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about you, where you from, what you do.
I am from, as in physically from, a small place in Georgia called Cordele, Georgia.
Oh,
Most
yeah.
people know it as the watermelon capital of the world.
Uh-huh.
I'm a graduate of the Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University
Okay, Rattler.
twice.
Uh-huh.
And I am currently the Chief of Youth Services with the Leon County Sheriff's Office.
Okay, over there with Sheriff McNeil.
Yes.
Yes, very good. Now, how long have you been on the council?
I have been on the council, I think, since 2012.
Okay.
I first joined the council as a member of the Tallahassee Police Department. I'm not sure if Miguel shared with you that there are two ex officio members of the council, one for the Sheriff's Department, one for
Yes.
the Police Department. And so I joined the council as a member of the Police Department. And after I retired from the city and now is with the sheriff, I now serve as the sheriff's representative on the council.
Okay, very good. Now, are there some topics that you would like the council to cover? Any type of specific diversity topics that you'd like the council to cover?
I think we do a great job in covering some topics. For example, over the past year, we have gone out into the community at least once a quarter with our meetings, trying to let the community know that we are the Human Relations Council and is
Right.
interested in their concerns. And so we've done a session on aging and the elderly. We've done a session on housing and housing discrimination. And one of the things that I'm particularly interested in is hearing from our youth and what they're dealing with when it comes to diversity issues or things that they are concerned about in our community.
Have you had a youth listening session?
We did. A few years ago, we partnered with the National Action Network, and we hosted what was called a youth huddle.
Okay.
And with that huddle, adults were not allowed to talk. We sat around the room and actually listened. And so I think it's time for one of those events again.
Okay, that sounds like a good idea.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I think we can bring that to fruition.
Let us know, because we would love to maybe possibly be a part of that.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's 2018 in America, and race is still an issue for us to talk about. Why do you think that's so tough for us to communicate with one another?
That's a really good question, and I don't know why, because I think, especially in our city, we are given so many opportunities to come together and to talk about issues, especially when it comes to race and diversity. I have attended and been a part of the Mayor's Race Relations Summit, which is now called Tallahassee Forward, for several years, and that's a great opportunity for our citizens to get together and talk about issues. But I also like the fact that the mayor implemented the longest table, which allows you to have intimate conversations with people who don't look like you, who dress differently from you, whose hair might be different from yours. And so I'm not sure why it's so difficult. I think it's for Tallahassee, like I said, we do a good job in promoting diversity and ensuring that race relation issues are discussed. And it's not so much so with other areas. And I want to say that the media plays a huge role in that. So
I agree. So we have to continue to do things like being a part of the Human Relations Council.
Absolutely.
And supporting the work that you all are doing,
Yes.
because that will continue to help us to engage and find out more about each other and, focus more on our likenesses as opposed to our differences.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So who inspires you?
Who inspires me? Probably the biggest person that inspired me most was my mom. And she was, of course, my #1 cheerleader and always told me to not allow others to tell me what I can't do and, use that as opportunities to prove what I can do. Right now, I don't think I'm really inspired by a person or an event. What I look for is the good in people and people doing good and serving others. And so when I see people rendering service to other people, that's an inspiration to me.
Okay, very good. What do you believe the status of race relations is in Tallahassee right now?
It's good. Is there room for improvement? Definitely. Definitely.
And how do you think we go about improving that?
Like I said earlier, communicate. We need to talk to people. We need to not just attend or participate in events that are for us or our race or our gender or our nationality, but extend the range. Go to some other events where different people or different cultures are hosting so that we can be involved and see the differences. And I like one thing is that Tallahassee is very welcoming, and so I think that's a good thing for our community.
I agree. Yeah, I think we do give great opportunities to get immersed in other cultures.
Yes.
And find out, what they do, and you might find something that you like.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. If there is something besides communicating that you would recommend that we do to improve human relations in Tallahassee, what would that be?
Be involved. I can't say it more simpler than that. Just be involved in the community. One thing that I learned in law enforcement is that when you know your neighbors, you're more apt to look out for them. So when you know people, you're more apt to speak up for them. So I think that's a huge thing, is just getting involved with others.
That's a great point. I think it is difficult to, maybe mistreat or be uncivil with folks that you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And while we may not agree on issues or topics, we still can be civil and even, towards one another.
Correct.
Even though we are on opposing sides of a particular issue.
Right. I think it's healthy to disagree. So disagreeing is not the issue. Civility is.
I agree too. And then you have the children watching you as well. And what examples are we, presenting if we, are being uncivil to one another?
You're right.
Yeah.
They emulate us as adults, so we have to be the role models.
Yeah. So it sounds like youth is kind of near and dear to your heart.
It is.
Yes. And why is
Truly.
that?
I became a police officer because I wanted to make a difference in the lives of our youth. And I have a very long profession of 30 plus years. But one of the things that I can say now in the position and the role that I am is that my career has come full circle, and I'm over youth services. So everything that I and my department do is geared towards youth and giving them opportunities, not just for law enforcement, but just opportunities to learn and to grow and to develop as human beings.
Okay.
And so I'm very proud of that.
That's good. That's excellent. I think that ties in very well with this council because you want to, one, have an opportunity for them to have a voice to talk about various sundry things. And I don't know if there are any youth that get involved with the council in terms of participating, but maybe that's something that the council may
That's an
look
awesome
into.
idea. I don't
Yeah.
think we have ever thought about having a youth member on our council, but I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, and then you want to see them, you want them to see examples of people being engaged in the community, being involved, getting to know about the local government and the civic groups and that sort of thing.
Correct.
So, yeah.
It's a great opportunity for them to learn. So,
Mhm.
yes.
It is, it is, it is.
Every stunt, every shot, every rep, every strike, every hit, every kick, every spike. From first down to first place, every tag counts. When you buy a professional team license tag, every purchase supports the designated team's youth charity programs and promotes youth in major sporting events in Florida. Find out more information at playinflorida.com.
This is Nicole Everett. People often ask me, what makes a great conversation? I say active listening, honest exchange, genuine interest, and finding a common ground. Tune in to Conversations with Nicole and explore the pleasures and connection of great conversation.
Conversations with Nicole. Come and have a little talk with me. Conversations with Nicole. Come on and speak to me.
What's the best advice you've either given or received?
Let's see. A few years ago in my career, I had a subordinate to tell me that people will always, how did he say it? People will always throw rocks. Don't give them the rocks to throw. Yeah, it was deep and it was profound, but it has stuck with me, and I share that because basically what it means is that people will always
Have something to say.
have something to say about you. It could be negative. They're always going to push your buttons and everything, but don't give them the opportunity to do that. So I think the way I put it best is to operate with integrity at all times. Even when people are not looking, always do the right thing. So when you're doing the right thing, it doesn't matter what rocks other people throw at you because they're just going to bounce off.
Yes, excellent advice.
Yes.
Well, I want to thank you for taking some time today to share what the Tallahassee Human Relations Council does, and thank you for your service.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us on Conversations with Nicole, where we're connecting the community through conversations. We'll see you next time.